Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. One more hello for you out there. Mwah, mwah, mwah. You beautiful people, you. How are you today? How are you this wonderful Sunday afternoon? How are you? I hope you're doing well. Yes, absolutely. Well, guess what? It is the last day of the month. Can you believe it? It is the end of May, the 31st of May. Oh my God. And what a month. Yeah? Oh my God. So much has happened. Guys, I have so much to tell you. And so I am going to cut my commentaries short today. No long commentaries for you today. Because every time I have a rest day in between my broadcast, right? There's so much happen, so much news to give you, so much information to give to you, right? That I have, I noticed that when I send out my voice notes, they are so long. They're supposed to be within 5 minutes, but there's so much to say. I go into all 6 minutes sometimes. Yeah, that's what happens, guys. So I'm cutting down my commentary today so that I can give you a lot of information that I have to give to you today. You're watching Omega Live with JJ, Woman Without Borders. Yes. And so that means I have to give you international news too, right? Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you for watching. If it's your first time, welcome. Remember to click the link, share the link with your friends and family that they can come and tune in and watch the program. Okay, absolutely. And remember to give me my thumbs up, guys. If I say anything that you like, and just for the program itself, just because you enjoy watching the program, remember to give me my thumbs up, right? Absolutely, and to share the link and comment, guys. If you comment while I'm live, you know that I can respond at that point in time, right? In real time. Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. I don't take it for granted. I really appreciate you. Well, by now, guys, that I give you the news and then I give you my 2 cents on it, right? So without further ado, I am going to go straight into the news. So here goes. Jamaica now has 581 confirmed cases of the coronavirus disease, COVID-19, according to the Ministry of Health and Wellness. 13 samples tested positive over the last 48 hours, with one sample testing positive twice, bringing the total positive to 581, not 582. Six patients have also recovered over the same period, bringing the number of recoveries to 290. Yes, and so of course for my big data people, I gotta give you the details, right? You want to know what is going on here, and you want all that information. So to date, we have sampled 12,389 persons, right? 12,389, and of that number, we have 11,758 who are negatives and 581 who are positive. Now, since the last time when I spoke with you, we had 7 new cases, right? Yes, Friday into Saturday, right? And then Saturday into Sunday, we have another six, right? So that's what brings up that number that I just gave you, those 13 new samples, right? It's over a 48-hour period, right? Because I wasn't on yesterday, so I couldn't have given you the number for yesterday. So I'm going to give you a combined data for yesterday and today. Yeah, absolutely. So guys, and because I did not give that news to you, but you have been hearing about the fact that some involuntary repatriates are here, right? Or basically deportees, right? So we were supposed to have gotten 40. Apparently, I don't. Again, ICE says, right, that they do not allow persons who are ill to board the plane. So I don't know if that's what happened, why everyone did not turn up again. As usual, we do not get the details, right? The last time we were supposed to get 62, we did not get the number. We were not told why we did not get the difference. This time we were supposed to get 40, we only got 28. We're not told why we did not get the difference. You understand? That's apparently it's not our business. Yeah, so anyways, of those 28 that came in, guys, two of them tested positive for COVID-19. Two of the deportees who came in recently tested positive for COVID-19. And so, and of course, and then here's the interesting thing that I just don't understand how when the Ministry of Health gives us information, guys, why they must always do that? They're not consistent with the information. Sometimes they tell us these things, sometimes they don't tell us. Like, for example, no, we understand that two persons from Falmouth Pier tested positive. by now, guys, I mean, when for the first ship, Adventure of the Seas, we could have said, okay, it's Adventure of the Seas because that was the only ship at the pier, right? But since then, we know that we've had the Carnival coming, we've had Norwegian coming, all these ships coming in. So when you tell us that there are two from the Falmouth pier, what does that mean to us? That means nothing to us, does it? We don't know which ship the two came off. So telling us two from Falmouth pier means nothing. But that's what they said on the report, guys. Two from Falmouth pier. So, anyways, with the two from Falmouth pier, that now brings our total imported cases to 84. So now we have, guys, 84 persons, right, tested for coronavirus disease who came into the island, right? They brought it with them to Jamaica. Mhm. At the same time, we have 290 recoveries. So day before yesterday, into yesterday, we had 5 new recoveries, and then we have one more recovery yesterday, bringing the total number now to 290 recoveries. Mhm. So according to them, that is giving us a 50-50 chance of recovering from the COVID-19, right? 50% have recovered. Uh, I have something to say about that, in a second. Hmm. Anyways, we have in the government quarantine 589. There were yesterday into day before yesterday into yesterday there were 284 persons who were in government quarantine. Now the number is up to 589 persons who are in government quarantine. Right. We didn't have anyone who was moderately ill. Now we have one person who is moderately ill and is hospitalized, right? While we still have those two persons who are critically ill, they are still in hospital critically ill. So now we have 20 persons, right, in hospital. So we had 19 before, then we added this one with moderately ill. So now we're up to 20 persons who are in hospital, right? Um, Two critically ill. Yes. And we have 288 persons who are in isolation. Mhm. Yes, the number still stands at 215 for the contacts of confirmed cases. That's still 215. Local transmission is still 27, but now we are up to 21. The number of cases that are under investigation. Of the total 581, 337 are females and 244 are males. Okay, so giving a little bit more information. So to date, we have we have done 1,000 new samples between over the 48-hour period. We did 619 new samples and then 311 new samples, right? Okay, so we have 1,000 samples over the past 48 hours that was done. So they're upping the number of samples, although we don't know if that's still just persons who are coming in on ships, right? Because we're not getting the right details, right information. Again, tell you about misinformation and no information, guys. That seems to be the norm these days, yeah. Mhm. Anyways, some more information for you. Okay, so we have now the persons who came in who tested positive for the COVID-19. The two males, they are ranging. They are 25 to 58 according to them. The age range is 25 to 58. There were three of them. There's two from the Falmouth Pier and one other person from Kingston and St. Andrew. So I guess that's why they gave it the age range of 25 to 58, right? We have one person from St. Catherine, we have one from St. Thomas, one from Clarendon, one from St. Mary, because we have three females and we have three males. Okay. And there's one also, they made a point of letting us know that there's also one female in the lot who is from St. Catherine, who is 75 years of age. Yeah. So that's our numbers, guys, for my big data people. Yeah, that's what's happening. Uh, you know, I've been hearing you. I mean, many of you know, how I feel about all of this. This COVID-19, right? And for those who don't know, let me fill you in for a brief second. I promise to be brief because I have more information to give to you, right? Now, I said it at the very beginning, and I'm gonna still say it because I'm not seeing anything to prove otherwise. To date, right? A matter of fact, last week, did you know that last week we had 40 deaths as a result of gunshots? hmm 40 deaths in Jamaica last week as a result of gunmen killing people. And in almost 3 months, we've only had 9 deaths from COVID 19. Nevertheless, the entire world shuts down, right? Most economies shut down worldwide for COVID 19. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying people are not dying from COVID 19, right? I am saying that many of the deaths, as far as I'm concerned, are not from COVID 19. This make it seem as if we have a great health system in Jamaica. We do not have a great healthcare system in Jamaica. We all know that. We have seen the atrocities that have happened. We have seen, I mean, the missteps and the slip ups and all the different things that happen in Jamaica since COVID 19. And we know our health system is not all that. You understand? We have also seen how many persons have been arrested under the curfew act because they were partying, having parties, right? With the Beanie Man and Bounty Killer have been clashed, right? And the only person in the household who had a little mask was his daughter. Nobody else had on masks, right? Everybody's okay. We see people in Montego Bay, in Kingston, all over, and they are up and about, going about their business, no social distancing, right? Not wearing any mask, and they don't have any COVID 19. You understand? Yeah, nevertheless, okay, we shut down the economy partially in Jamaica, claiming that COVID 19 is killing off people when we've only had 9 persons dying from COVID 19. Now we are hearing that we have a 50% recovery rate of the COVID 19 in Jamaica, right? Guys, I do not have all the answers. I wish I had the resources where I could actually do some serious investigation about this. But I am even no more than ever convinced that it's not COVID 19 killing a lot of people. Not at all. I can't tell you what it is. You already know how I feel based on what I've heard and my speculation, based on the information that comes my way. You understand? But I give you facts, right? I don't give you misinformation. I give you accurate information. So if I don't have accurate information to give you, I can't give you. But what I'm telling you, but I'm seeing, my intelligence tell me it's nonsense. I'm hearing too many stories. I'm seeing too many things, guys. You heard about the man, the minister, the president of Tanzania. I fact checked it. It's a true story, guys. I saw that viral video going around viral, and I thought it was fake news. Right. So I really didn't pay any attention because I thought it was fake news because I was like, really and truly, how on earth could anybody test a quail, and a papaya, and it come back positive for COVID 19? So I thought it was fake news. Turns out it was not fake news at all. It is a true story. You understand? The Tanzanian minister did actually say that, and even though they do have cases in Tanzania in terms of COVID 19. The president has said basically he's withdrawing from who? Because the World Health Organization is giving misinformation. Guys, I remember how many times have I told you? I've said it to you many times. In the in the biggest of lies, there's always a little truth in it somewhere. You understand me? Okay? There's always a little truth in the biggest of lies. Yeah. So even if, right, the story is not 100% true, there is some truth to it. You understand? World Health Organization has not been forthcoming with information. There have been in collusion, as we know by now, with China, and that has been proven, right? And many of the news, guys. Unfortunately, I have been watching the news, and I see what some mainstream media what they broadcast. I noticed that what they give you or what they feed you, but because I'm always scouring the internet for news, I am seeing so much more than what I noticed that they are feeding on television. I see that. You understand? And as a result of which, I can tell you, you understand, because I've seen it out there, right? That there's many things that are happening that you're not being made aware of. Many things you're not being made aware of, and they're just basically manipulating people in terms of feeding us what they think we need to hear. You understand? For their own agenda, clearly, right? But I'm telling you, there is much more to this than you don't just don't listen to all these mainstream media houses telling you what they're telling you, guys. I'm telling you, there's so much more going on behind the thing that we are not made aware of. You understand? It is not true what they're telling us. And the more I wish I had the resources to really do some serious investigation here. I'm telling you, because the more I see and the more I read and the more I go on YouTube and do my research on Google or other search engine, is the more I am discovering that we are being fed so much lies, guys, so much lies that we've been fed. You understand? And this COVID 19, there's much more to it than meets the eyes. I promise you. Okay, so anyways, continuing with the news. So Jamaica is mourning the loss of Member of Parliament for North East St. Anne, the Honourable um, Shahine Robinson. She's also the Minister of Labour and Social Security. She died last week Friday, guys, last week Friday night on the 29th at her home in St. Anne. Okay, so the Prime Minister, Honourable Andrew Holness, tweeted yesterday on his Twitter account. He said, "I miss my friend. This was our first day in Parliament." Yeah. So let me give you that story. Uh, where is it? Hmm, where's my story? 1 second, guys. Oh, here it is. Hush. Um, I've been having problems with my laptop and my phone. Serious issues. Um, memory problems, all kind of problems. So give me a second. Let me see if I can get this up because of my storage problem on my phone. Yeah, that's what happens when you don't have the necessary resources to do what you need to do, right? But you work with what you have, which is what I have been doing, working with what I have. So, unfortunately, I'm having a memory problem in terms of opening up my stories. So, just give me a sec so I can actually open this file. In the meantime, let me give you my 2 cents while I wait. Thank you for my thumbs up, by the way, guys. Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate. Thank you for my thumbs up. I appreciate it. Yeah. Um, in the meantime, while I'm looking for my story, trying to get it up because of memory problem. Yeah. Let me just give you my 2 cents on actually this particular story. Because I know what I'm going to say already. Yeah. So, okay. The Honorable Shahine Robinson, right? She is a member of Parliament for North East St. Anne, and she is also the minister for the Ministry of Labor and National Security. No, sorry, Minister of Labor and Social Security. Sorry. Anyways, I noticed, and you might have noticed it also, that with all that has been happening with COVID-19, we have not seen her. We have seen representatives for the Ministry of Labor, right? But we have not seen her. So I knew something was wrong, but I could not figure out what it was. You understand? And nobody was saying anything. So therefore, when I saw the news the other day, remember I told you that the Prime Minister and I think it was Dr. Oris Chang who went to her home in St. Anne, right, to look for her. I gave you that news last week, right? But so what happened, guys? Apparently she was dying, and they knew she was dying, right? So all of a sudden now we're hearing about it, but we heard nothing before. It was kept hush hush, and I'm saying this is my thing, okay? She is a public figure. I agree, people must get their privacy. I do not have a problem with person getting their privacy. But when you're a public figure and when people vote for you, right, you're a representative of person, then I think it when it comes to something like this, then people ought to know what is going on with their representative, don't it? Am I wrong? Shouldn't people be told these things, guys? Your member of parliament is ill. Mm? She has been battling cancer for the past 2 years, right? And she has been home for the past months. She has been home for several months. You understand? And I'm thinking at that point when you're home and not in a hospital, that means it's usually a case wherein usually, and like I said, I'm not judging up or anything, I'm just giving an observation with using the head where God give me. You understand? It's usually the situation wherein they say, okay, doctor said there's not more we can do for you. And at this point in time, chemo doesn't work or whatever doesn't work, it's not going to work. And so it's just a matter of just basically going home and dying, so to speak. Yeah, usually. So it's been a while now that she has been in the state where our condition has deteriorated, and again we heard nothing. Mm? And then here it is, she has died. Mm? And I mean, now we're being told. And my heart goes out to our friends and family who I'm sure knew, and they have been suffering in secret and silence, you know and my heart goes out to the family because cancer is, I can tell you from experience, having to deal with a loved one who's suffering from cancer, who has suffered and has died as a result of cancer. It is not a nice thing, guys. It's not a pretty thing. The whole experience is not, it is a traumatic experience. Been there and done that. So I can speak. You understand? It's not an easy thing at all. It's not an easy thing. And but at that point in time is when you need support. You need emotional, mental, physical, financial, all kind of support at that point in time. You do. You understand? Right? And so my heart goes out to the family. Our prayers and condolences to them. I really do hope that they find solace, right, in her memory, because as I understand it, she was a great MP. I didn't know her. I saw her, but I didn't really know her. So, but I was told, and I've seen it based on the tributes that have been expressed, that she was a great MP. So, anyways, let me give you the story on it. I'm not going to give you all of it, right? But I'm going to give you a part of it. So, the Prime Minister, the Honorable Andrew Holness, says Minister of Labour and Social Security, Minister Shahine Robinson, was a patriot and a servant of the people. He said Robinson, who was a member of parliament for St. Anne Northeastern, was a much loved political representative adored by her constituents, a humanitarian, and a great personal friend. During her time with the Jamaica Labour Party, Robinson also served as Minister of State in the office of the Prime Minister. I didn't even know that. With the responsibility for local government added in July 2011. And I should have known that, right? And the Minister of State in the Ministry of Transportation and Works in 2011. An earnest and passionate member of the Jamaica Labour Party, the JLP, Shaheen never wavered in her love for her party. She fought courageously against her illness. Her passing has left us with a sense of deep sorrow, and we shall miss her dearly, the Prime Minister said. Yeah. Mm. May her soul rest in peace. Indeed, indeed, indeed. And speaking of souls resting in peace, I gotta give you this one also. So, um, Colleen Walker, the vice principal at the Excelsior High School in Kingston, who was gunned down at her home in Queensborough, St. Andrew, was yesterday memorialized as a passionate educational leader and teacher, as well as an active participant in national development. Excuse me. Walker was attacked by gunmen on April 9th as she and one of her sons completed chores in her front yard. The Reverend Al Miller, who delivered the sermon at this funeral, held at Fellowship Church in St. Andrew early yesterday, roused congregants to use Walker's tragedy as a reason to stand up against crime and violence in Jamaica. The Reverend said, God wants to get our attention to bring us to the reality that this crime problem must solve. Sometimes when it happens to those who are far out there, we look at it and we say, yeah, but when it come a yard, it's a wake-up call. You can do something about it. Thank you, Lord. You need to do something about it. You need to engage the process. It's a call to me to renew my commitment to do something about it to solve the problem, he charged. Excuse me. The funeral was streamed via Facebook Live. Oh, okay, I'm gonna give you a little piece about it. So, of course, she dedicated 29 years of her professional career to Excelsior High School. Her resolute professionalism, attention to detail above ordinary interpersonal and leadership skills, stern but calm demeanor, strict, no nonsense approach to discipline, humor, warm, loving nature saw her rise above the rest fairly quickly. She became highly favored by students, parents, and colleagues, according to the president of the JTA. No, that was not him. Sorry, my bad. That was our son. That was according to her eldest son, Shane McCarthy, her eldest son. Yeah. Okay. I'm not giving you all of that story. Just giving you a part. You can read the rest. Okay. So, of course, Excelsior being my alma mater, I'm really in sympathy for that fraternity and for the members of the Excelsior community, and of course for her friends and family. Again, may her soul continue to rest in peace. Mhm. Okay, and continuing with the news. No. Oh, I should tell you this one, you know. Do I have the time to give you this one? Do I have the time? Do I have the time? Do I have the time? Yeah. I'm gonna just give you again, not a lot, but a part of it. So, you know, we talked about the lady, the disabled woman who was killed in Augustown. Okay, well, a petition started basically early this morning for her, right? Is nearing 400 signatures. They just started the petition, you know, and already she has garnered over 400 signatures. The petition is on the website change.org, right? Change.org. And they're seeking justice for Susan Bogle. You know, she's 44 years of age, and she was allegedly struck and killed by soldier's bullet. They're seeking to reach a milestone of 500 signatures. They have an hashtag for the petition, which is Justice for Susan Bogle, and it was started by a group that identified themselves as Concerned Citizens. And the group Concerned Citizens is who started this group, and they have a hashtag Justice for Susan Bogle, trying to reach 500 signatures. They've already gone 400. They are seeking the intervention of the Prime Minister, Minister of National Security, and the Director of Public Prosecution, as well as swift investigation for the Jamaican Independent Commission of Investigation, INDECOM, who are already probing the matter. Yeah. Okay. Not much to say about that already. I've already given my feel on that already. So we just watch. It's a continuing developing, it's a continuing story. So as information reach me, I pass it on to you, right? Absolutely. Okay. Now this is what I want to get to. Huh. Governor General Sir Patrick Allen could be asked to exercise its authority under Section 80, subsection 5 of the Jamaican Constitution and appoint a new opposition leader if Manchester Central Member of Parliament Peter Bunting and his supporters head to King's House with 15 letters indicating no confidence in Dr. Peter Phillips. The leader of Her Majesty's opposition in Jamaica is the person who has the majority support and confidence of the political party which is not in government. A letter signed by 15 of the 29 opposition members of parliament was sent to Phillips last week. Dr. Phillips, they said Phillips, right? Complaining about the absence of meetings and demanding same after flames of no confidence in Phillips, Dr. Phillips, have been fanning since 2018. Yesterday, the People's National Party PNP told the Sunday Gleaner, that's where I got the news, right, that Phillips was not about to roll over and play dead. The leadership top brass stands strong in their support of party president Dr. Peter Phillips and his leadership of the 81-year-old organization, the party said in a statement in response to Sunday Gleaner's queries. The statement, under the signatures of Chairman Fitz Jackson and General Secretary Julian Robinson, said regular meetings were always scheduled, but were unfortunately delayed on account of COVID-19 protocols prohibiting gatherings of more than 10 persons. The party is focused on its preparation for the upcoming general elections and will not be distracted by any attempt to divide the party in its mission, it continued. The statement said, the letter is viewed as a request and that with the relaxing of these rules as of June 1st, tomorrow, right, the party can return to its usual schedule while observing the need for social distancing and other protocols. However, the party did not respond to the Gleaner's questions on possible sanctions Bunting and his supporters could face amid attempts to heal the rift in the PNP and the way forward. Don't be fooled. Phillips has met and is meeting with people who support him. He's just not meeting with everybody, said a source who doesn't want to be identified. If in the judgment of the Governor General, the leader of the opposition no longer is able to command the support of a majority of those members of the House of Representatives who do not support the government, or as the case may be, the support of the largest single group of such members who are prepared to support one leader, the Governor General, acting in his discretion, can revoke the appointment of the leader of the opposition, reads the Constitution. This will be the first time that the Governor General would be asked to make such a decision, but not the first occasion in which such a move was contemplated, stated a senior PNP source. It was the intervention of former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson in 2005 who prevented Phillips and its allies from heading to King's House shortly after Portia Simpson Miller became PNP president, the leader was told. The source claimed that Phillips supporters then had prepared a letter which said that Simpson Miller enjoyed neither the support nor confidence of the majority of the members of parliament. The two preachers appeared to be on a collision course with real political fears inside the PNP that Bunting, who has made no secret of his ambition to become prime minister, has authority in numbers and could head to King's House on Tuesday. Should the Governor General act, which is not outside of his powers, he could or would be considered an activist GG, and he is not known to be one. My guess, that is the source speaking, is that if he is approached, he will either call Bunting to a meeting or write to say that he has exercised his discretion not to interfere. An academic who said she was watching the development described Bunting as desperate. His ambition is well known, but for him to make this move now, there must be a feeling of desperation. Something must have triggered it. But remember what happened in Shakespeare's Macbeth? She said yesterday. Still, as Simpson Miller ally said on Friday, that Bunting has been desperate a long time. The morning after the general election loss in 2016, he and Mark Golding were calling people asking when Portia was going to step down. She had been burnt by the two Peters. Guys, it continues, but I'll end there. Give you my 2 cents and continue. All right, so many of you who know me knows I've said it many times. I've tweeted to for the past 2 years. I've been tweeting to Dr. Peter Phillips, Dr. Peter David Phillips. Even you've heard me said when he came out and said that he had cancer and he had done surgery and he was recuperating. I said it again, and you heard me say that one. You understand? I think it was on this program that I asked him. I said, "Sir, why don't you retire gracefully? It is no shame in your game. You're 70 years of age. You can retire now. It's okay. You understand?" Guys, my 2 cents is this. Why is it that when persons are in power, they find it so hard to step down? Hmm? Why is it that celebrities or persons of note, yeah, why is it that when they're on top, they don't think that it is time for them to pack up their bags? I mean, we've seen it all the time, and I've said it many times. For example, Serena Williams, Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, you name them. I say when you are on top, when you reach the top, do like Usain Bolt. Yeah, do like Usain Bolt. Retire. Don't let anybody come and beat you. Yeah, retire on top. That's how you do it, guys. You're on top. You retire on top. If you agree with me, give me a thumbs up. Let me see a thumbs up coming if I agree with what I'm saying here, guys. I'm saying if you are on top, retire on top. Do not allow yourself to be beaten. You understand? Mm-hmm. Right? And here it is. Dr. Phillips, he made great contribution to this country. Yeah. He and his party did. Yeah. I mean, say what you will about both parties, how politics works, but each of them come into politics and come into power and they do what they can. I'm not saying they couldn't do more, each of them on both sides, JLP and PNP. I'm not saying they can't do more, but I'm saying when you take up the mantle to be a public servant and represent the people, you do something for your constituency and for the country. You understand? And he, as a finance minister, once upon a time, and held other ministry, he has done contribution for the country. So I'm saying, why is it therefore that you can't say, you know what? I did a lot for my country. Let me retire. I mean, if the position of prime minister, seriously speaking, guys, the prime minister position is not an easy one. It's not the ultimate power. There are, matter of fact, there are people more powerful than prime minister. Believe it or not, there are people more powerful than the prime minister. Yeah. Okay. And I'm saying, is it that you're so desperate for the position of prime minister that you're so blinded you can't see other things? You can't see the bigger picture here, right? And I mean, Mr. Bunting, I don't know if it's desperation on his part, or what. But personally speaking, I don't think it's desperation. They're calling it desperation, but I don't think it's desperation. I think it's a matter of it's cunningness. One, it's being smart. Two, yeah, because guess what? He knows that Dr. Peter Phillips cannot beat the Honorable Andrew Holness in the next election. That's a given. I don't care what anybody want to say. I said, I have said it. You understand? With all the mishaps and missteps and all the things that they are doing and the misinformation and the no information and everything that JLP is doing, and I'm not saying they're doing a great. They've done some good, but they've done some bad also. A lot of bad too. You understand? And it is there. You can see it, with your eyes if you look. You understand? Nevertheless, even with all of that, if Dr. Phillips is to go up against the Honorable Andrew Holness, he's going to lose. He is going to lose. He cannot win. And the people in the National Party, they know that. You see, many of them, those 15 persons who are actually and I have the name of them. I don't know if I should read out the name. No, I'm not going to read out the name, but then I have the names of the 15. Yeah, who I've written this letter, I've signed this letter. You understand? But the point is, as far as they're concerned, Peter Phillips, Peter Bunting stand a better chance against Andrew Holness, Andrew Holness. You understand? At this point in time, and it is true. You understand? Because there's no way Dr. Phillips is going to be able to beat Andrew Holness. The Minister Holness, the Prime Minister, the most honorable Andrew Holness. There's no way it's going to happen. No way it's going to happen, guys. And so this is what is happening. And as I said, all he had to do was from the 2 years ago, you understand, or a year and a half, or whenever, or even the other day, I thought that was a perfect. I thought that was God giving him a segue out of this, out of political life. I really thought so when that happened with regard to that. I'm not saying God caused cancer, guys. Don't get me wrong. But I tell you, God uses things, like when I use COVID-19 to do with good. That's what the Lord does. It will use a bad event, guys, and turn it up for your good, because all things work together for good to those who love the Lord, to those who are called according to His purpose. God does that. You understand? And so for me, that was a great opportunity for Dr. Phillips to just use that illness as an opportunity to say, you know what, I'm going to throw in the towel, I'm going to call it a day. And he would have gone out with a lot of salutes, you understand, a lot of tributes and all that good stuff, you understand. Absolutely. Now, again, his name is going to be dragged through the mud with what is happening now. This is another mess, guys, another mess, because they're trying to do this, preparing for the general election that is supposed to come between now and next year. I don't think it's going to be this year, but sometime in 2021, right? Mm-hmm. And so that is what is happening, guys, right? But it doesn't have to be. Guys, I'm telling you, if you're out there and you listen to me and you have some power and you're on top, I'm telling you, retire gracefully, retire on top. Do not allow yourself to have to go through a situation where, an underling will come and overthrow you, so to speak. You understand? And at 70 years of age, come on, Dr. Phillips, man. Spend some time with your family and children and your grandchildren, huh? That's what it's supposed to be doing at this time, right? And allowing the younger person like Peter Philip and Peter Bunting to get the opportunity and at in this position, right? I don't know if he's the best candidate for the position. I don't know. I don't know him like that. But I'm saying, give you guys at that age are supposed to be teaching the younger one. That's what you're supposed to be doing, not hugging the position. You understand? But passing on the baton. That's what you're supposed to be doing, and training and teaching someone to take your place. You understand? That's what is supposed to happen. Hmm? Guys, as you know, this has been going on for the past 2 years, and it will continue. I knew it was going to happen again. You heard me say it, right? Because it was not going to be finalized as long as Dr. Phillips is sitting in that throne, sitting on that throne. It's not going to happen, right? Because many persons believe that Peter Bunting would make a better, both a better leader and also a better prime minister. Yeah, there are some persons who actually believe that you make a better prime minister than Andrew Holness. They are, believe it or not. Yes, they are. So I'm saying, if it is, and you'll be surprised that he is also liked on both sides of the aisle. Yes, he is liked by both sides of the aisle. Okay, and so you'll be surprised, and don't be surprised, even though you hear what you're hearing. They said there are 29 seats, and he has 15 signatures. And I promise you have some bandwagonists that if he does prevail, you understand, there are some bandwagonists who are going to come over and add to that 15. My words, you understand? Mm-hmm. Anyways, that's all I'm going to say on that story, guys. It is a developing one, it's an ongoing one, and there's a lot more to it. And you will hear, as I hear, you will hear. I will pass on that information to you. Absolutely. Okay, so continuing with the news, let me give you this one. So, the CEO for King Alarm, Mr. John Nazar, right? So he basically was speaking with a gleaner, and he says, with a general downturn in business as the COVID-19 pandemic grips the global economy, right? Is urging business operators to use the slow period to critically analyze their operations and retool to rebound when the recovery begins. He says, in the midst of the daily hustle and bustle, it is oftentimes difficult to step back and see the bigger picture. So he suggests that business operators take a deeper look at internal processes, product lines, and the customer service experience, as well as their monthly recurring expenditure, emphasizing that those who take the time to reflect and adapt are likely to fare better in the crisis. I'm a firm believer, he says, that crisis gives leadership the opportunity to shine, and now more than ever, business leaders need to be very hands-on in their day-to-day operation. Any business that remains stagnant in an ever-evolving climate runs the risk of becoming obsolete and even in some instances irrelevant. Success in business entails constantly evolving and adapting to changing circumstances and conditions. And I would say that what he said is well said and is applicable to the very government with all the ministries. Isn't that what I've been saying, guys? Except he said it for the business, and I'm saying it for the government and all the ministries. If they do the very same thing that Mr. Azar is suggesting that the businesses do, we will see an improvement in government services. Yeah, absolutely. And that's all I'm going to say on that one. Okay. So, continuing, guys. I've got to give you this one. So, Jamaica and West Indies women all-rounder Chanel Daly says the national women's cricket team has lost a father figure following the passing of coach Cleon Smith. So, Smith played a crucial role in the development of several players on the island, including Stephanie Taylor, the West Indies women's captain. He is credited with the success of the Jamaica team in the West Indies women's tournaments, where they won several titles in the last decade. He also coached the St. Anne's Parish team, several clubs, and in schools. Smith was a regular coordinator of the kiddie cricket program, which was part of the CWI age group and junior development pathway. Jimmy Adams, you know Jimmy Adams, right? He's the director of cricket and CWI's Cricket West Indies. He's the director of cricket. He paid tribute to Mr. Smith. He says, it is with a deep sense of loss that all of us at CWI heard of the passing of Cleon Smith. He has been an integral part of the Jamaica cricketing landscape, serving as head coach of the country's women's national program for over 10 years. Cleon dedicated his life to coaching the game at community, school, and regional levels, and the game will be left that much poorer by his passing. All of us at CWI wish to convey our deepest condolences to Cleon's family as we share their grief during this period of mourning. And Jimmy Adams was one of Jamaica's greatest batsmen, right? I used to, back in the day, I used to love to watch Jimmy Adams play cricket. Uh, yeah, but our sincere condolences and prayers to the family and friends of Cleon Smith. May his soul rest in peace. Yeah. Okay. Now we gotta go, guys, and give you some international news. I'll give some international news. Oh, oh my goodness. My data. Storage. I need storage. Storage. Okay, let me see if I can open this file so I can give you this information that I want to give you now. Okay, so it's not opening, guys. So that's not opening. Okay. All right, so I can't give you that story that I want to give you there because the file is not opening. I do have storage space. So let me give you this one. I want to segue into my international news with this one. So a mentally ill man is facing extradition, but the government is yet to make a decision on this 2-decade-old request. Imagine 20 years, guys. An extradition request by the US authorities for a mentally ill Jamaican man wanted for murder in the state of New York was lodged at the Ministry of Justice for over a decade with no action officials have confirmed. What's worse, checks, and this is a Sunday Gleaner story, right? So checks by the Gleaner have revealed that the extradition request dates back more than 2 decades, spanning 5 justice ministers across successive both the PNP and the JLP administration. Nobody wants to make decision because ultimately it's for the executive. One local law enforcement insider charge. Local authorities say their U.S. counterparts share some of the responsibility for the long drawn out process, citing records that show that it took the Americans 6 years to provide authenticated documents requested to support the extradition. The accused killer, whose name is being withheld, has been indicted by a New York grand jury for the July 93 shooting death of another man during a gambling dispute in Orange County, officials have revealed. He was tracked to Jamaica in May 97 by the U.S. law enforcement agents, marking the start of a long, winding process to have him stand trial in New York. Incumbent Justice Minister Delroy Chuck confirmed on Friday that he recently became aware of the extradition request, which, according to his recollection, has been in the ministry for over 10 years now. It has been brought to my attention and I'm investigating it, he said. Using diplomatic channels, however, local law enforcement insiders told the Gleaner that the government is using diplomatic channels to have the issue resolved quickly. According to one source, the Justice Ministry has already asked the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to dispatch a letter to the U.S. authorities requesting further critical information related to the case. This information, the source explained, will be used to help the Jamaican government decide whether or not to give the Office of Director of Public Prosecutions the authority to proceed with the extradition request. Director of Public Prosecution, Paula Llewellyn, confirmed that her office had written to the Justice Ministry, bringing certain things to their attention, but did not provide details. Excuse me. Oh, I should tell you this part about it. Mm. Sources disclosed that after he was tracked to Jamaica in 97, American authorities issued a provisional warrant for his arrest, but it was soon discovered that he was in police custody in St. Anne facing a charge of arson. On May 13, 97, he was found unfit to plead in the St. Anne Circuit Court and detained at the Governor General's pleasure. His condition improved after 2 years and the arson charge was reinstated. He pled guilty and he was sentenced to 3 years imprisonment, suspended for 3 years with psychiatric supervision as he had been diagnosed as suffering from schizoaffective disorder, the source explained. Excuse me. And the story continues. So that's about all I'm going to give you on it. It's a very long article. But the point is, yeah, so this man committed the crime back in 93 and he was tracked to Jamaica in 97. Yeah. And they have been trying to extradite him for the longest while. However, because of his mental illness and among other things, it has not happened. And as you know how these things are when it comes to the government, right? So so we've had since that time, right? Um, one administration after another administration, right? But guys, that there's no statute of limitations on murder. Yeah. And so the US has not given up their hope in extraditing this gentleman for him to stand trial for the murder in 1993. So this, guys, is a developing, ongoing story. I'll have more for you um, as I hear more. So, which I'm going to use that to segue now into my international news that I want to share with you, guys. So, if you've been following the news somewhat, to some extent, you might have seen or heard about these riots happening overseas, right, in the US particularly. So, let me give you that story. So, excuse me. Protesters set police cars ablaze, smashed the windows, businesses, and squirmed with baton-wielding officers in streets from Atlanta to Los Angeles as anger over George Floyd's death spread across the country. Remember last week I gave you the story about George Floyd, right? Authorities were bracing for more violence today, with some calling in the National Guard to beef up overwhelmed forces. In Minneapolis, the city where Floyd died on Monday after a white police officer pressed a knee into his neck and kept it there for more than 8 minutes, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz fully mobilized the state's National Guard and promised a massive show of force to help quell unrest that has grown increasingly destructive. He said the situation in Minneapolis is no longer in any way about the 2 dozen cities from New York to Oakland, California, from Portland to from Atlanta to Portland, Oregon, experienced protests, many peaceful, but some of which turned violent. Many protesters spoke of frustration that Floyd's death was one more in a litany. It comes in the wake of the killing in Georgia of Ahmaud Arbery, who was shot after being pursued by 2 white men while running in their neighborhood, and in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic that has thrown millions out of work. It has killed more than 100,000 people in the US. People who protested outside the White House and warning that if protesters breached the fence, they would have been greeted with the most vicious dogs and more ominous weapons I have ever seen. He is purported to have tweeted. Minnesota has steadily increased the number of National Guardsmen it says it needs to contain the unrest and has now called up 1,700. The arrest and charging of the officer who held his knee to Floyd's neck on Friday appears to have provided little balm. Georgia's governor, meanwhile, declared a state of emergency. My feed is getting unstable, guys. I hope it does not fall. Okay. Okay. It's on t-shirts and campaigns for, and I feel like nothing has changed. District resident Abineri said of Floyd. And so that's why I'm out here. Yeah. When you say nothing, you take side of the oppressor. Hmm? A person was killed in downtown Detroit just before midnight after someone in the SUV shot into a crowd of protesters near the Greektown Entertainment District, police said. In Portland, Oregon, protesters broke into police headquarters and authorities said they lit a fire inside. In Virginia's capital, a police cruiser was set on fire outside Richmond Police. And the transit spokeswoman said a bus set ablaze was a total loss, news outlets reported. In scenes, both peaceful and violent across the nation, thousands of protesters chanted, "No justice, no peace," and "Say his name, George Floyd. Say his name, George Floyd." They hoisted signs reading, "He said, I can't breathe. Justice for George." Do I need to say anything about that one, guys? I think that one is self-explanatory, yeah? Absolutely. Yeah. And in closing for my international news, the government of Bahamas says 1 year after the bodies of 2 nationals, including a foreign service officer, were pulled from the Po River in Italy, there is no sense of satisfaction or closure to the families, friends, or even the government. In a statement marking the anniversary of the deaths, the Minister of Foreign Affairs said the government has been and remains fully engaged in the investigation of the case. The Bahamas government, through the engagement of an Italian law firm, continues to press the Italian government for answers as to the cause of their untimely death. Last year, the bodies of Al Ray Ramsey, 29, a Foreign Service officer, and Dr. Blair John, 28, were discovered by Italian authorities in waters of the River Po in Turin on June 4th and 5th. Initial medical examination indicated that the men were in the river for 2 to 3 days, according to international reports. The autopsies which were performed on both bodies indicated that the 2 men died from drowning. So, I will have more for you as as an ongoing story. So as I hear more, I'll hand over more to you guys. So curfew has been extended. The Prime Minister has extended curfew from today into tomorrow. It was supposed to have ended today, right? Today, the 31st of May, and all orders were supposed to expire today, but it has been extended until tomorrow, which is June 1st at 5 a.m. And that is kind of interesting, guys. I find it, what I find very interesting and something very fishy. Um, you don't know what happened when heads of government meet, don't it? You don't know what happened when heads of government meet. But I noticed that several curfews across the US, right, have been extended until June 1st. The curfew, I was looking at, I find it interesting. In Albany, the curfew will take effect on Sunday, May 31st through June 1st. That was in Albany. Then another one says curfew starts at 9 p.m. 31st until 6:30 a.m. June 1st. Yeah, and I'm like, coincidence? I don't think so. Right? What is going on here? But anyways, um, the Prime Minister is supposed to speak this evening, I understand, and let us know what is going to happen effective tomorrow, June 1st. Right? So stay tuned. As I hear, you will hear. Okay? I will have more for you concerning the new stay at home lifted stay-at-home orders. Because, basically we have a stay-at-home orders and a work-from-home orders, right? One is for you to do flexi hours. There's a flexi work arrangement law, which was passed 6 years ago, I understand, right? But has not been utilized, will be utilized. The Prime Minister has said that you don't have to go to work if you don't have to, in terms of, which is not quite true, really. In actuality, it sounds good, but in actuality, it's not quite so. Because I did not give you this, but I will give you tomorrow the story about, basically, I mean, what many businesses are not ready for an open economy, right? Many persons are not ready for it. Many companies are not ready for it, right? Um, you know what? I'm gonna give it to you. I have a minute. I'm gonna give a minute out of it. I'm gonna give. Now decide when Jamaica can start accepting tourists and whether to do so earlier than October 1st. Proposal as aviation, tourism, and other private sector interests increase their pressure for an earlier start. Already, Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett has indicated that a summer resumption between June and August is being worked on. Health Minister, however, Dr. Christopher Tufton has reportedly been butting heads with industry interests, urging them to hold strain until the numbers of active coronavirus cases declined significantly and key infrastructure is in place to facilitate mass hospitalization if necessary. With quarantines among the highly recommended protocol to contain the spread of the virus globally, such a measure could come in conflict with tourism operation, which brings into focus the need for established guidelines as the industry reopens. Those guidelines are reportedly at least 90% ready and should be submitted to government this week. One of the challenges facing authorities in tourism is about testing and what to do if a visitor returns a positive test on arrival or even displays COVID-19 symptoms just before traveling to Jamaica. Some of these issues, including whether visitors will get refunds, were raised in the April 30 draft of the Tourism Ministries before operating. Last week, the Planning Institute of Jamaica projected a 12 to 14% economic contraction for the April to June quarter because of the COVID-19 fallout. The government has also estimated the gross domestic product to decline this year by 5.1%. A new budget has been tabled showing significant spending cuts and relocation to match the fallout in revenues. The JHT President Omar Robinson insists that the more than 300,000 workers in the sector need to go back to work. The PSOJ has also telegraphed its impatience. Mr. Holness has not shadowed from the dire economic situation facing the country, even as he signaled the struggle inside his administration to push for a full economic rejuvenation amid health concerns. We don't want to survive the pandemic and die in the recession, he told journalists last week, post cabinet meeting. Sandals, one of the largest hotel chains, has been advertising a June 4th and guest and clear guidelines. Dion Ligor, head of the corporate communications, disclosed that sanitization of aircraft at every port. Most employers are not ready yet, however. According to the Jamaica Employees Federation, it reports that up to 80% of its members have indicated that they are not fully compliant. Up to 80% of its members have indicated that they are not fully compliant with the guidelines established by the Health Ministry or to bring back all employees. The cost to reconfigure businesses, establishing sanitization stations, and other minimum requirements emerged in the telephone survey as one of the main issues impacting employers, particularly small-sized businesses. David Wan, president of the JEF, shared. The large companies have no problem finding resources, but the small and medium enterprises just don't have the resources to completely reconfigure inside their offices all at once, one said, suggesting that full compliance for these entities would take a more gradual approach. Absolutely, that is exactly what I am saying too. And I made mention of that, guys, on Friday, right? Think about it. All of those small offices are ongoing story, a continuing story. So I'll have more for you as the case as it continues, right? Anyways, I've come to the end of the program, guys. Went over my hour by a minute. So I've come to the end of the program. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it. I hope you got information that you did not have before, right? Because I'm here to basically give you information, right? Knowledge, right? My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. With knowledge, you can make informed decisions, right? Absolutely. So I thank you for spending time with me this afternoon. I really, do not take it for granted. I really appreciate you. If you found value in this program, please share the link, right? Which subscribe to my channel, okay? And remember, I'm also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Omega News JA. Absolutely, right? And so until tomorrow, which is going to be June 1st, the start of another month, right? I will be back tomorrow at 12 noon. Absolutely. Okay. So, guys, remember, if you're outside, you're going outside, practice your social, not social distance, actually, you're practicing physical distancing. Okay. And not social distancing, we need social. We need to be social with each other. Absolutely. And remember to practice infection control measures by washing your hands and keeping your surfaces germ free. Okay. And so, until that time, mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you for watching Omega Live with JJ, Women Without Borders. I will see you tomorrow, God willing, at 12 noon. And until then, stay blessed and be a blessing. Love you. Bye.